and create something that the mainstream media would really have a hard time denying. But more importantly, we've gotten some last-minute support here, and it's exciting to see. We've got some angels coming in with some big donations to get behind some radio ads. We haven't been able to raise that much money independently, but for those of you who are listening who can't be there, who want to be there in spirit, I would ask that you be there with your wallet as well, and check out AdamVersusTheMan.com/VFRP, Veterans for Ron Paul. Donate if you can, but if not, if you just want to get active and help out with this most important cause, get on the phone, get on Facebook, get on your email, get in contact with every active duty soldier and veteran you know that's in driving distance from D.C. tonight. Get on the phone, call them. Tell them if they do one thing for you today, if they do one thing for you this year, if they do one thing outside of the military to serve this country, this is it, because their country still needs them. We still need to hear the voices of the veterans, the voices of the active duty troops. We need to grab the rest of the Republican base by the collar and say, wake up. This is not a conservative foreign policy. Ron Paul is the choice of the troops. And we're timing this just so that we have a chance to have an impact for Super Tuesday, which is 2 weeks from next Tuesday. So we're really hoping that this can be a fundamental.
Well, that's the other thing, Adam, is there's so many states yet to vote. People who can't go to D.C. should go to their capitals and the other landmark areas where they are and send that message, because the troops have voted with their dollars. It's, you know the statistics, I know you covered this, it's overwhelmingly in favor of Ron Paul by far. They voted, but the media again decided that's not important news. Yet another celebrity death is the most important news still. And it's just amazing. Talk about that. Just talk about the numbers of the troop donations, because some people probably missed that.
Well, if it was that Ron Paul was just edging out the other candidates by a little bit, you could argue that it wasn't significant. If it was just a horse race and they were neck and neck with a bunch of candidates, maybe you could deny the significance of it. But as of last quarter, they've crunched the numbers again. Ron Paul has gotten more contributions from active duty service members than all others, including Obama put together. And as it comes out, it's usually Ron Paul somewhere between 50–60%, and of course the numbers fluctuate from quarter to quarter. But it's Ron Paul clearly dominating with somewhere between 50–70% even of the donations. Obama with about a quarter, and all other Republican candidates with less than a quarter of those donations. So the support is really overwhelming. But I have one more announcement to make, if I may, about this event. We're having an after party as well, and it's been really exciting to see how many musicians have come out to support Ron Paul. Of course, we had the infamous tweet from Kelly Clarkson, but for this event, we have the cream of the crop of the musical talent of the freedom movement. We've got Amy Allen, Jordan Page, Golden State, and Rebel Inc., all under one roof, all on the same night. But even more exciting than all of that, we had a late addition to the ticket with Michael Graves, former frontman for the Misfits, who came out on my YouTube channel just last week with his first public endorsement of Ron Paul. And it's very exciting to see that he's going to be performing a set for us as well. So we still have a few tickets left. If anybody can be in D.C. on Monday and you want to get a ticket for this, the website is march2whitehouse.com, march2whitehouse.com. Of course, you can find all the info from my website, AdamVersusTheMan.com. But we have lots of details on the Facebook event. We have some black and white flyers available now. If people want to print their own and pass them out here, we'd really appreciate it. You know, it's been myself and Nathan Cox who decided as co-founders of Veterans for Ron Paul 2012 that we were going to plant the flag and we were going to make this happen. And we don't have a massive organization. Adam versus the Man is a one-man band production here. And Nathan Cox actually still has a full-time job that has nothing to do with the freedom movement.
Right.
So it's really exciting to see that people are jumping in, but that's what it takes to make an event like this a success. The grassroots are behind it, and they're willing to volunteer and do a little legwork for us as well.
Yeah, and those celebrities that have come forward are just a mark in space of how many people are waking up overall. But getting back to the military aspects, I mean, how many different founding fathers warned against the danger of a standing army? Smedley Butler in the 20th century warning that essentially the military was being used to be a client for corporations in the third world, overseas, and that's what's really happening. Could you talk about those aspects?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the best safeguard against the danger of a standing army is an educated population, and I mean an educated population that includes those who would be picking up guns for the government, and that's why the work of oath keepers is so important, encouraging the troops to honor their oaths to the Constitution over what illegal orders they may receive. So the fact that we've gotten to such a standing army today where the government can, at the drop of a hat, put not just a battalion of Marines on any beach in the world in 24 hours, but deploy divisions without the taxpayers even noticing it because it's already budgeted for, and create the excuses to create special spending bills, because that's really what it's all about. It's all about the exploitation. And you know this, your listeners know this, and this is really the key dynamic here, is that wars are fought not for defense, not for revenge or for anything like that. It's for exploitation. It's part of the scam to keep the tax cows slaving away and keep the tax dollars flowing to the beneficiaries of government. And the military-industrial complex is the biggest recipient of this welfare. It's a welfare check. Every time we send a troop out, every time we send a soldier into battle unnecessarily, it's a meal ticket for someone who's doing nothing to serve anybody else here at home other than making military equipment. And that's the real danger of it, is that the standing army creates an opportunity for the government to spend more money. It creates a temptation for the globalists, for the banksters, for the real exploiters in our system to get us to fight each other, to get humans to cause so much pain and suffering, to see what is war but the systematic destruction of human life by machinery, to see that we can be turned to that for their greed. The standing armies are simply a tool for that. But I'm as pessimistic as I might be for the midterm or the short term, except if we do have the chance of getting Ron Paul elected. I do believe there's still a significant chance that makes it worth fighting for his campaign every single day here. You know, I'm an optimist in the long term, but I know that even in this day and age with the internet, when we have such global connectedness, when we're able to have the truth button here, one click away, and see through the lies and see through the propaganda, but at the same time realize our shared humanity, globally speaking, that is the kind of globalism I want to support, that we see that shared humanity. We will be looking back at this day and age, just I feel even just decades from now, and we will look back on this as the most shameful episode in human history, when we thought that war was an acceptable means of conflict resolution in any way, that we were able to do this. And when we look at the political system today, I mean, as Stefan Molyneux has said, I can't imagine people looking back from the future and seeing that we weren't just faking this for everybody's amusement, because it's become so absurd. But at the same time, it's become so tragic. It's become so painful. And for those of us who have seen it firsthand, we want to make it stop. We want to make it stop. If you support the troops, help us make it stop. Support the troops who support Ron Paul.
I hear you, Adam. I want to bring this up, too, because what kind of freedom, quote unquote, are they building here at home? They've branded returning vets as potential extremists. There was a case this week where a vet called a help hotline, and he wasn't even suicidal or anything, and they swarmed his house and took his guns. You've got this prepper in the news. We covered it today. He was labeled mentally defective and barred from his Second Amendment through the FBI background check, and obviously that's something they want to pin on a lot of vets. Do you see veterans waking up to this? Is there this on the radar? Is it just a few? Is this beginning to swell in all the ranks?
I mean, I like to be optimistic about that one in particular. I do think it's swelling, because every soldier that comes home from these wars is a potential extremist, is a potential dissident, is a potential threat to the government. Because when you come home from an experience like this, when you have been both the victim and the victimizer, and you see that there was no just cause behind what you were a part of, when there was no moral imperative to risking your life, there was no just cause that your buddies died for, that's why you see the kind of record suicides among veterans. And so in that sense, veterans continue to be victims of government, continue to be victims of that experience. And part of that is because there aren't positive, peaceful outlets for confronting government. And that's what the Ron Paul campaign provides. That's what we're hoping to provide with this event with Veterans for Ron Paul 2012. Because there are so many troops that come home from this and just drink themselves into bottles and destroy their lives because they're so frustrated and there isn't that outlet. But I do think that they're waking up, and I do think that veterans in particular, as former members of the Praetorian class, many continuing as members of the police force in that effort, are extra motivated to wake up. And with the internet, with the Alex Jones show, with the INFOWARS nightly news, with the information that's out there that's just one click away, for any veteran that's able to question things, they're able to get all of the answers really easily and see all of that right there. And I just want to reach out specifically, if I may, to the veterans in the audience here who might be dealing with these issues, who might be dealing with, you know, post-traumatic stress disorder or some symptoms that don't quite raise themselves to that level of diagnosis, but who are struggling with their experience. And I just want to say, please find a way to speak out, find a way to have your voice heard, because it's empowering and it's essential to the healing process for yourself.
Yeah, that's therapy too.
Exactly, and it was for me, you know, for starting to speak out when I came home, but PTSD, dealing with it, getting to the point where you have a handle on it, is about taking what's rattling around in your subconscious and getting it front and center in your conscious mind, whether it's through activism or public speaking or writing or making videos or art or music, whatever it is. Find a way to do that. Don't bury those feelings. Don't bury those thoughts. Address them. Get into it. And I'll bet when you do, you'll find that not only will you be able to come to a place of much better self-control and happiness and centeredness in terms of your own life and being able to have processed and dealt with your own experience, but you'll also be empowered to help the world learn from your experience. And that's what we're doing with this event. That's what we're doing with Veterans for Ron Paul 2012. And I hope that for the veterans listening, that they would take this as an opportunity to get involved, not just to help me, to help the cause, to help Ron Paul, but to help yourselves.
That's well said, Adam, because us being so far down the rabbit hole, we could see how much things are turned on their head, but we need everyone else to put on the glasses too and shatter that illusion with the Ron Paul election as a case example. But the whole society we're building, it's really dangerous, and I hope this helps people wake up. You're gathering at the Washington Monument, what, Monday? Is that February the 19th? Is that the right date? Monday,
February 20th. It's 20th. President's Day, so it's a holiday. And we know all the federal employees and hopefully most of the members of the military at the local bases here will have that day off. So it's a really great opportunity. Like I said, we're getting the last-minute radio ads going out now, but if you can reach out to individual veterans or active duty troops that you know in the area, we would greatly appreciate the support in that outreach, and it's a great opportunity to spread the message. But the website is marchtowhitehouse.com. And, of course, you can get to it all through my website.
And, again, I think for those not on the East Coast, it's a great opportunity, too, to influence upcoming primary states.
But, Adam, we have vets from all over the country coming for this, so we need money to help pay for transportation at this point still, too.
Well, it's a great idea to put a spotlight on the fact that the military really have weighed in on the presidential election and so much more. Thanks for joining us, Adam Kokesh, AdamVersusTheMan.com, and one more time with the event website.
March2whitehouse.com. March2whitehouse.com.
March2whitehouse.com.
If you're there, get your tickets now. They're selling out fast.
All right. We'll speak to you again in the future, Adam. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And that is it for the InfoWars Nightly News. We still have a subscription special available, 44% off. If you decide to help fund that operation, you help us get this message out to so many other people. You see what all these media platforms are doing in the time of the internet to reach people, awaken them, and help refocus them on what's important, whether it's constitutionally minded or anything else to fight against this terrible beast system. So we do hope you'll support all those efforts and reach people however you can. Until next time, good night.